In this video, we will see how to paint our object. So the best for it is to go there without any strange matcap. Like for example, something like this one or this one might be okay. Maybe we can remove the shadow and the cavity just to make maybe the cavity we can keep it a bit, not that much. We don't want the ridge to be strong and the valley to be strong like that. Something like this might be okay just to have a good understanding of the details here. So what we will use here is the paint tool. So the paint tool, basically what it does, it paints. Very simple. You choose a color here. You can go into the tools and you will have a color picker, a color palette here. So let's create a palette. For this, it's quite simple. You just go with for example, the empty here, okay? And let's say we would like to create a kind of dark reddish, something like that. So what is good with this technique is that you can go there and create this, okay? You will have this color and you create this into the palette. So like this, you will have different colors that you can play with, okay? So let's go with another one, maybe something a little more colorful, something like this might be interesting, okay? We can play with other like that here for the teeth, maybe something like that. So like this, we will really have different kind of colors that we can add and play with. So let's add another one, maybe something more colorful here, a little lighter and less colorful, maybe somewhere here might be cool for me. I apply this one. Okay, so then after we'll have to choose the basic color of the object. I like this one here, this kind of color, maybe a little more reddish than this. So let's go and start with this. So let's add this kind of color here, something dark gray like that. Okay, let's add another one, maybe bluish, more bluish one, something like this. Okay, and add more, something darker if needed, and add another one. So like this, we will really have interesting things to paint on. Okay, so okay, we are good to go. Let's go for it. So we will just hide this and start to paint over what we have. So first of all, we will just choose a base color. Okay, this base color will be simple, and this will be really what we will paint on. We would like to add the nub path and the teeth into our painting here. So what we will do, we'll go into object mode here, the nerve path, so it's the tongue here. So with Ctrl J, I will just join the two objects here. And with that one here, I will keep this one and duplicate that object, okay? And push it into the base shapes in case I need to make another dragon, let's say. Okay, so this I will just apply all, see a little the wireframe if we have something that looks cool and that has enough geometry. We will add a modifier generate subdivision surface again and apply it. Like this, we'll have enough vertices to paint on. Good. Because here we'll not paint into a texture, we'll paint into vertices. So that's why it's important to have enough vertices to paint on it. So we are good to go. And now let's come back without the wireframe and we can join our two objects here. Maybe we might not join them for now. We will see that later. Maybe we'll paint the teeth into only one object. Okay, so let's go for it. First of all, let's work on that one. So let's go in sculpt mode and we will use the paint tool here. So let's go for it. We will paint everything with a light texture, a light color, maybe something like this. Okay, maybe a little lighter even. no, it was good with this one. So let's paint everything like this. You just click and drag, paint everything. It's the same kind of technique that you use in Sculpt, but here we fill everything. Okay, just to have a basic color. Looks good. Okay, good. So now we would like to separate a little this, and what we would like to do is paint everything there. So what we can do, we don't want to paint the inside, so be sure that into the tools you will have here the front face only in case, and like this you can paint everything inside. You can blend things together. You can, with shift, you can use more blending if needed. Okay, so let's say this part will be this kind of dark red like this that we like. Okay, and again this one here. Good. So, and we continue just to paint like that. So this will be very not crazy things here. Okay, by default we will just make basic colors, and after we'll blend it a little with other techniques. Okay, so let's say this is okay. We have something good here. Already this has to be well painted. Good. And now let's say we would like to add more of this color over there, and to make this without too much strength, so we can push the strength at 0.2 and start to blend this. Okay, so even 0.2 here, 0.1 might be okay. Okay, and we can start to blend things just like this. Okay, so it's simple. You just add more textures and paint things a little more where it needs. Okay, so in case you want more of this in some places, maybe 0.2 might be okay. Yeah, okay, for that one. Good. Just to have this kind of better looking and not too boring things. Okay, this is not painted, this is not good. Let's go and paint everything that we need inside. Then when this is finished, you can start to paint over with this kind of color here, and without too much strength. Again, maybe 0.2 or 0.3. Maybe we can start to make this kind of space pops. Okay, and what we can do is just make this for everything that is thin. Okay, so for example, this one might be cool, this one as well. Okay, and we will just add more textures into that. Not too much, just what we want and what we need. So here it seems that we did miss space. Okay, so it was with that one. Good. Same for the horns. Here has to be something maybe a little lighter and with less color into it, and I will add it into the palette here. Okay, so something like that might be okay. Maybe not with that much strength, just to add more light into this. Okay, so something like this, and then after, anyway, we will blend this. The goal is to make thin parts lighter. So with Shift key, you can see that we can blend things together. And like this, it will be not too much. We will not see too much the strokes that we made here. Okay, so here we need some as well. Okay, and just blend just with Shift key, just like that. Same for this case, here, over there, just on top. It really makes things pops more. And again, you blend. Okay, cool. Now I will add a little more of light here, even a little more here. And again, we blend. This is the goal of this. Same here. You can see that here we didn't have these textures. So it's a pity. Let's come back into our basic tools, our drag and tools here. It seems that I did forget that space. So I will use maybe that one here. And so I add more of this texture. Now, okay, let's come back into the paint. Good. So we'll have something that pops better. Now we can put back here some blue to remove the strokes here if needed. This one has to be different as well. Okay, good. So let's come back to this one. No, this one, please. Thank you. Good. Okay, let's blend all of this. It will look better. This has a strange color here. Good. Again, we'll make some different parts with this dark here. Okay, so we will add more details just by adding more of this where we feel it. Okay, just to make things pops a little more. And blend, 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 blend. Okay, it starts to look okay. I want more of this one here into the horns. Good. Now I would like to just use basic colors here. So what I will use, maybe it's a dark eye. So in that case, I will just select this, go there with something really dark. Okay, let's take a big strength here, something like that. Might be okay. And what I would like with this color now is to make something really, really strong. Kind of orangey, yellowish. So let's start with something really orange. Okay. Scale it up. Good. And make it with strength at 1. Okay. This looks not bad. Okay, so let's make something like this. Yeah, it's not that bad. Good, but now I will choose something more yellow, lighter, and try to make things like this. Another yellow, but more something like this. Okay, good. Let's blend this a little for the eye. Okay, and make something like dark space, just like that. Okay, good. I don't have any enough definition, but it might look okay for what I want. Okay, maybe this has to be thinner. Okay, something like that. Looks better. Okay, good. So now we start to have something that looks better. What we can use as well, it's the mask here, mask from Cavity, that will help us to have some details. So what we can use is mask from Cavity here, and it will give you this kind of mask. Okay, so this kind of mask can be used in two different styles. So what I like to do is to test it out just with a mask, invert mask, okay, just to have this. And now I would like to add lighter. So I will just choose something like that and just fill it with a big stroke like this, okay? So this one is too big, okay? Just to test it out if it will work well. Okay, it works not that bad. And I will put not a big strain, 0.2, something like this. So it makes pops up things a little with the scales and everything, as you can see. Okay, so maybe I would like to contrast this a little bit, as the mask is not contrasted enough. So what I will do, I will do Alt M here, come back with the mask here, mask from Cavity, and you can see that you can just play with a custom curve here and a factor. So let's say that we don't want that much here, so you can use this to make this a little more contrasted, just like this. Okay, increase the factor if needed, like 0.8, something like that, and maybe 1.3 over there, and you will have this kind of nice effect. Okay, so maybe 1.3 it's too much, but 1.1 at least might be cool, and 0.6 might be okay here. Good. And now with this you can just add more white or black, just like this. Okay, so in that case it's okay for me, so I will go to mask and invert mask and start to make pops all of this. Okay, just like this, not touch the eye, but for the rest you can go just like it is, and it will really enhance the details of everything everywhere. Okay, maybe not inside, but here at least. Good. Good, we are not bad with it. So let's see a little if everything went well with that, and make Alt M, okay? And now you will have something that looks very cool, okay, with the details. So what you can do as well is make another one to contrast it. So make Ctrl Z and Ctrl Y to invert it here. And now we would like to darken this. So we choose something darker. And again, let's go for it. Maybe something a little bluish, but at least this darkness. And let's see here and add more darkness into it. Okay. So it will contrast what we did before. And let's remove the mask. And here we see a little more the result here. Okay, so you can see that it starts to pops up a little more. Maybe this has to not be that dark. Okay, so now we start to have interesting things. Good. I would like to come back a little into the scales on top of it. So just with little strains. Okay. To make the horns popped up a little more. Okay, and the top of this as well. Maybe this line, the entire line, we can make it lighter. Like this. Okay, same for here. Okay, it looks already better. So now maybe just a little of red over this space here, not into the eye. Okay, blend it if needed, but not too much. And now we will use the same kind of techniques for the teeth. So let's go into the teeth in sculpt mode and let's draw everything that we need. So we will just take a basic color here, okay, like something like this, maybe a little lighter. Let's go there. Here with a full strength over it, okay. Let's go for it. Maybe something a little darker. Something like that. Okay. Ah, I didn't use the... Yeah, I didn't use the X symmetry. Sorry for that. So I will fill back everything with this color. Look okay everywhere. Okay, come back with this on top of it. Maybe not big strains, but something that will be a little lighter here and a little less, yeah, something like this. Okay, so just to make a kind of blending and make things a little more interesting. Looks cool. Okay, good for that. And maybe a little darker here into that area with something maybe less saturated and darker, just to add this kind of color here. Make it blend a little more with this part. Okay, we are good to go after. And then when we made all of these little colors, we can blend everything with the shift key. Okay, just to have something a little more interesting. Good. So now we have our painting. As you can see, it looks quite good, but what we would like is to make the light for it and to have to make a beautiful render into that. So what we will do, this doesn't pop enough in my opinion, but it's okay, it will look okay. Okay, so let's go for it. And for this, I will just go into cycles and into here the render directly here. So I will use the GPU in my case, the denoise option. Like this, I can see the result directly. I use easy HDRI to use HDRI usually to make a simple light. So easy HDRI is really easy to use. You just go into your HDRI folder, you accept this, and you create world node, and it will create the node for you. You can use a background display, a solid black here, I like it, and then you just click and drag. You just click here to have the basic light that you want to use, okay? And then if you want to use the colors that we did create for your render, you just go into the rendering here, the shading, sorry. We'll create a new shader. This shader will have a basic color, and this color will be here the thing that we find over there, okay? So you have an attribute over there, okay, as you can see. So it's the color, and what we will use into this object, create a new shader here, add here an input attribute, and this attribute will be the color. Or do we have anything else? It's the color attribute, sorry. Yeah, it will work better for sure. Okay, so you can see that we have this. We need only one material here, like this. It will fill everything. Let's go back in rendered mode here, and we can see already that we have a nice result. We can make the same kind of thing for the teeth as well. So let's add an input color attribute. Let's put that here, okay? And we will have the colors of the teeth. And now we can make things pop up with a little more here, a little more lights and things like that. And but first of all, let's make here the shader looks better. Okay, so what we want to do here is add some ambient occlusion. Okay, so you can see the ambient occlusion will look like this. So I would like to add some ambient occlusion into that. So if the color, mix color, I will mix that with the multiply option. Okay, and use this. Good, so now I will have this kind of color. Good. Looks already better. I will play with the roughness as well. I don't want something that like this, so I will just play with the color attribute here and use the converter color ramp. This will make pop what I want by making the scales maybe a little more with more roughness and the rest with less roughness. It depends of what you want. So here I can play with the sliders, okay? And the white will be with a lot of roughness, and the black will be with not that much roughness. So you can just test it out, plug this into the roughness and see a little how it will look, okay? So the black values will be totally reflective. What we want is to make them a little more less reflective, like this, for example. And it will look already a little better here. Good. So now it looks a little more okay. Let's say even a little more like this. Good. What we can do as well to make things a little, to make things pops more, we can remove the clamp factor here and increase the level of multiply here. Like this, it will make the shadows looks a little more here. Okay, so let's go now for the lighting a little more. What I would like to use first, it's this one maybe. Okay, and we will play with the direction of the light here. Okay, so maybe choose the right orientation that makes the geometry pops up as much as possible. So now let's add a first light. So it will be a light sun. Okay, and we'll make a rotation and RZ to have again the orientation that gives you the best result. Here I will put a strength near 8, maybe something like this. So let's go there, here. So into the item here we can put a rotation at 71. I know that these values are good, that's why I share it to you. And -3, something like this. So it will make the the light really with the right orientation to make the things pop up. And now we can add another sun. Okay, another sun with Shift A. And this sun will be oriented a different way, like the other way, like this. And we want something with a different color. So it will be really reddish, this one. So something near this, maybe, let's say. Something around here. And we want no shadow here. Okay, no cast shadow. And we want the strength of it near 2. Let's say 2.1, okay? And we start to see little things happen. So now with RZ, we can make our render look a little more like we want, okay? Usually this kind of settings works even better with Eevee. We can go in Eevee and see how it will look. Let's go for it. We can wait a little because it takes a lot to compute. But when it's finished, it should be beautiful. Usually I prefer to work with cycles, but maybe in that case Eevee might look better. Okay, still doesn't want to answer. Okay, now we start to have something that looks cool. Okay, so now maybe we can just create a last paint that we will use just to make the eye a little more pop-up, but already you can see that you have already a very nice result here with the settings that I did show you. So let's go there, and for this you can just come back into non-rendering mode, come back into sculpt mode, come back into painting here with the tool that we have here. Okay, come back here with the right attribute. Like this we can see what we want, and what we can do into the settings of the object, we can create another color attribute, and the name of the color attribute will be color 2, let's say. Okay, so let's add another one and we can paint on this. What we can do is just make the eye a little more pop up, and for this we will just want a black and white value, and that's it. So we can just go there into the here white values here and make these white values to make the eye pop up a little more. Okay, let's go for it. Maybe it will be enough. Let's see if it will be okay. So let's go back into rendered view here. Not this one, but this one. Okay, and now what I would like to do is to add this one. So I will duplicate this attribute. Okay, choose the color 2 here, and make the color to into the strength of the emission here. And it should be like this here. So it should work okay. And you can multiply this value over there to make things pop up a little more. So let's say, for example, you want more, you will add here a multiply here. So let's add a math, okay, and multiply this and with a value of 2, for example, and you see the eye starts to pop just like it is, okay? So now you can just paint directly into the space that you want to add more or less. So let's say I will take this as dark, and like this, when I paint this, I can just paint where I need to. So like this, I can just, with control click, really paint where I want to, like this, okay? Just simply like that. Maybe the multiply is a little too much. Maybe a value of 2 or 1.8 might be okay in that case, okay? And look at this, you have already a really nice render that pops up very well. Maybe the teeth needs a little more love. So let's go back into object mode, select the teeth here. We will increase the roughness and maybe change the color attribute here. Change the color attribute, and maybe in this attribute we want to add more here ambient occlusion as well. So let's go back into ambient occlusion. Okay, and let's use the mix color, and like this the color of the ambient occlusion will be multiplied with this. So before we had this kind of color, now we'll have this kind of color. We will increase the factor at 2 maybe, something like this, or even 4. We'll see how it will pop up. Okay, so before, after, looks better, even bigger. So maybe we can increase or decrease the distance. Maybe 2 might be cool, or 0.5. Just test it out until you find the right result. Maybe 1.5 is good, and increase that a little more, like 8. Okay, good. So now we can just put this into the base color. It will look already better. And with this, I want to increase the roughness over there. Okay, just like this. So simply like that. And now we will have the nice result to show. So here into that side especially, it will work pretty well. So you can change after your lights in case you want less light, for example, for that one to make things pop up a little more, and maybe a little less for that one as well. Okay, now we have really an interesting render, and we can play with the camera to add a camera and make our final render. So that's it for this mini training, let's say. So it's already a good start for you to understand sculpt mode in Blender, and please share your creations with me. I'm always interested to see that. But here you can see that with a few skills, it's not that complicated, but you can really have a good result here into the render. So don't hesitate to experiment yourself this, and see you later. Happy blending, everyone.